Thank you so much for the introduction. I didn't know you knew so much about me. Where did you get that info? Very good. So, I'm usually very formal when it comes to giving talks. This is a retreat. So, we're going to be contemplating on the topics. Today's topic, as was mentioned, is spiritual values in everyday life. So, we'll be talking about the need of values, what values are, what a value means to us, values in the form of dharma, and then we will be talking about these Vedic values. We all know them. Sometimes they are summarized as yamas and yamas, and then how to practice them in our daily life. So let's get started. Let me make sure that there are no interruptions. Put our phones on silent mode. So let's close our eyes. Let's get into the mood. Om Madhuvatartayate Madhuksharanti Sindhavaha Madhuirna Santoshadhi Madhunakta Mutoshasi Madhu Matparthiva Gunrajaha Madhudyorastu Nafpita Madhumano Vanaspatir Madhumagum Astu Suryaha Madhuirgavo Bhavantu Naha Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om, may the winds bring us happiness. May the rivers carry happiness to us. May the herbs give us happiness. May night and day yield us happiness. May the dust of the earth bring us happiness. May the heavens give us happiness. May the sun pour down happiness. May the cows yield us happiness. Om, peace, peace, peace. Well, as mentioned by Sri Ramakrishna, when we have a twig or a small plant, and we want it to grow strong and become a strong and solid tree, we need to protect it. It needs to be fenced. It needs an appropriate environment, mm, like altitude, soil, the right amount of water to grow. Similarly, all of us need a proper environment if we want to grow inwardly. It is not enough to have that initiative, but that will also depend on the type of associations. Have you ever heard about the word sangam? The type of interactions, the type of company is very important in our lives. So in our scriptures, they mention different types of sanghas or sangams. Some of them will contribute to our inner growth. There is particularly one that definitely will not. But then again, if we think positively, everything is experience, and out of experience is how we achieve common sense, and out of common sense is how we grow. And so nothing is truly wasted. So water is the same, but determined on the type of sangha, it will achieve or it will experience different fates. If we sprinkle water on a hot pan, the moment the water touches the hot plate, it is instantly destroyed. The same water, when sprinkled on a lotus leaf in a pond, what happens? Acquires glow. And the same water, there is a mythological belief when rainy water falls on a particular shell on a Swati day, the very same water becomes a pearl. So the first Sangha is called Adharmic Sangha. Water being one and the same, when associated with a hot plate, gets evaporated. The second Sangha, it's good, but it's temporary. When associated with a lot of leaf in the pond, it gains temporary glow. And the third and the best, the Uttama Sangha, is a permanent good. And when it is associated with a shell, on an auspicious day, it becomes a pearl. And is permanently valued. What is good for water is equally applicable to human beings also. Wouldn't you agree? The Uttama Sangha is what we call Satsanga. And this is what we are having here today. And this is a very important discipline in our scriptures. To be around the good, to be around those who will help us grow. People who share the same mindset, people who share the same efforts. So by this sheer association, people, all of us, whether we know it or not, we imbibe virtues. And sometimes acquiring virtues by our own, it takes a lot of effort. But when we are among the right people, it gets easier. So, as I mentioned, the word Sangha can be seen in three different dimensions, and we all agree that Satsanga is the best. But there are also different types of Satsanga. And we start with the Satsanga where we all share virtues, where we all share an exercise values, what we call values in life. Noble values. And we may be called, because of that, Dharma Purushas. There are different levels, of course, of Dharma Purushas. Those who we just started, and those who have got to the highest level. But one thing is true, the Dharma Purusha doesn't compromise values. He is aware that he is a role in the society, and your roles are very important, especially for when we are surrounded by kids or youngsters. We have to lead by example. So I think it is important to be associated with these kind of Dharma Purushas. So this is the satsanga, we can say at the first level, which will help us gaining or achieving these values in life. But as we all know, values are not all. What is the goal in life? What is the goal of Vedanta? Yes, very good. Freedom from what? Moksha. Why do we say moksha, freedom? Meaning, are we slaves? Not to be born again. But freedom from what? If we need freedom, it's because clearly we are slaves. And this is something that we forget. We are slaves of nature. And as long as we are not in control of ourselves, as long as we haven't mastered ourselves, as long as we don't completely understand and accept our inner nature as being one with what we call Brahman, we continue being slaves. But first thing first, we start practicing values, dharma. And on the way, we learn, we experience, we make mistakes. Mm? But first, we make a decision. We are going to lead a dharmic way of life. We are not going to follow the herd, what everybody does. We'll try to be good and do good to others. That's the very basic thing we can do. Then that's how we start our path towards our goal, moksha. You agree? Very good. So there are different degrees of a moral and a dharmic person. Dharmic person has not grown fully. It's on the way to be fully grown. A dharmic person can understand good, to do good to others, but still continue living not a God-centered life, but a body-centered life. Do you agree? In a way, and I'm sorry, I'm going to use a word that is strong, but it's all over the scriptures. Ajnana, ignorance. That is ignorance. Mhm. We forget. We wake up early morning, we remember our duties, circumstances of our daily lives. We forget. So what is required? Discipline. You have to remember. You have to remember what your goal is. And you have to remember your daily duties. And yes, to do your job, to whatever circumstances come to you every day, with the right attitude. But also the basic thing, you have to practice values. Otherwise, it's of no use. You can be a great meditator. You can claim to meditate every day, to do puja every day. But in your life, it doesn't show. And that's the reason why we don't progress. Hmm? So, as a noble person, we can be also ignorant. What will make the difference? A very strong sense of commitment. And no matter how many lectures you come and attend and listen to, this is very simple. Tomorrow I'll be talking about how to lead a God-centered life. So I'm going to leave some of this for tomorrow. But you have to make a choice. You want to lead a life in the world, sense pleasures, attachments, suffering, a little bit of joy, suffering, 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 a little bit of joy. Or you want to get hold of yourself and follow the teachings of our teachers. Most of you are coming from India. I love India. I lived in India for 7 years. I've been honored, but the spiritual heritage that is coming from India is so great. The greatest is the light, the guiding light of the world. Everything's there available to us. We just need to follow it. Not just in our scriptures, which are revelations, but also in the interpretation as it was practiced by our contemporary teachers. We have all that information, but we have to turn that information into a reality. No matter how much money you give in charity, which may be a noble cause, you have to transform your personality. You have to transform your character. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna talks about his karma yoga. I call it the yoga of Shri Krishna. Can you hear me? Can I decline? The yoga of Shri Krishna is nothing but a way of life. One thing we need to understand and accept the essence of the scriptures, that we are divine beings, spiritual beings. That God is in all of us, not just in me, it's also in you. And that reality is not different. So if we understand that and we accept it, we can only truly practice values. That is the essence and support of all ethics, as Swami Vivekananda said. But that way of life will help us, and you might have read Karma Yoga. Usually the yogas are introduced like 4 boxes. This is one, this is the other. And according to our personalities, I could be a little bit of Karma Yoga, then Jnana Yoga because I like philosophy. Let us relax a little bit. Let us make sense of this. Swami Vivekananda talked about the harmony of these 4 yogas. In reality, it's one yoga. It's just that to get to the highest goal, we need to go through a process to clean ourselves, to remove that dirt from the gold we are already. It's not that we are impure. Due to our mistakes, we have soiled ourselves a little bit. So effort is required to change our habits, to change the disposition of our minds, to create new habits, new samskaras that will help us grow. Do you agree? Simple. And that has to show in your daily life. So as we grow, as we experience, as we make mistakes, we get up and keep walking the path. Slowly our minds will transform, will show more and more light of its own natural light. The Atman that is behind will show more and more that glow. And you will experience the grace of your own mind. It's called Chitta Shuddhi, I mean, with the purification of the mind. In the process, we purify our mind, we clean our minds, and we can see the bottom of the lake with clarity. So, clarity comes to you. As clarity comes to you, you slowly become a Jnana Purusha. You know. You may still forget a little bit. You evolve. mm? You progress in your spiritual path. You know the truth. Sometimes you experience that, sometimes you forget, but you make it a point not to forget. Mhm. Then we remember Aham Brahmasmi. You can experience the same with the attitude of a devotee, as it is emphasized in our recent scriptures. This is the easiest path, no? But you know what I mean. The jnani will say Aham Brahmasmi, right? Still be a devotee, like Swami Vivekananda. Hmm? Will this person practice values? Of course he will. His life will be an example of these values because he can see his own self in others. He is a yukta, a determined, committed person who can see his own self in others. And we can definitely imbibe values from him. Until we can have an association with that Brahman itself. And that's a high, high standard. That was his case. Is it possible? Oh, yes, I believe it is. Not just I believe, I know it is. Until you discover, you know, you and Brahman are one and the same. Becomes real. So ideally, we should hang out. Excuse my language, I mean, to put it in short, with these Jnana Purushas, Brahma Purushas. But first thing first, you have to make up your minds, make a decision. I'm going to lead a spiritual life. And for that, you have to practice values. Do you agree? Now, what is value? Value indicates the regard for a thing. Value indicates the regard for a situation or attitude, which for some reason is esteemed or prized by the value holder. The appropriate values which prepare the mind for Vedanta are certain universal ethical values. In Sanskrit, an ethical value can be defined as dharma. Dharma is a standard or norm of conduct derived from the way in which I wish others to view or treat me. The dharmic mandates for behavior and attitude, though commonly found in religious scriptures, trace their source to pragmatic common sense ethics, which religious ethic confirm. Which religious ethics confirm. In other words, my norm for what is proper behavior or a good attitude is based on the way I wish others to treat or view me. We forget this, don't we? So basic. What I expect or want from others becomes my standard for dharma, right behavior. What I do not want others to do is adharma, wrong behavior. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. Just think about yourself. We are very selfish by nature. Did you know that? We are naturally selfish, born in these bodies, and all we want is the best for us or for those who we love. So we are here to take, but little do we think, or we think about giving what we want, giving to others. I want others to speak truth to me. What do you need to do? Be true. Speak the truth. And remember what Holy Mother said. Say the truth in a way you don't hurt others. Make sure you don't hurt others, but say the truth. We will come to that. The highest value. Do you know what it is by now? We haven't talked about values yet, but you should know what is the greatest value to be practiced. Ahimsa. We'll get there. So, you don't want others to lie to you, do you? You get upset, you react. So, speaking the truth is dharma. Speaking the non-truth is adharma for me. What did Sri Ramakrishna say? The highest tapas. So there are two types of dharma. Tomorrow we'll talk about dharma as the Lord, seeing God as dharma. But there are two types of dharma. Samanya dharma. Samanya dharma, they are called universal values, ethical duties that every person is expected to practice in life in order to contribute to the building of an enlightened society. Universal values. Basically, in short, don't hurt others, don't steal, do to others what you want others to do to you. And then we have the VSGH Dharma, which means our given situation, your responsibilities in life as a mother, a father, a student, a son, the role we play in our lives. We got to do it right. What comes to us? So there is a goal when we lead a dharmic way of life. And as we walk this path, we'll experience harmony. Harmony with the universe, the universal dharma. Harmony with people, the response that I have with situations, different situations in life. And slowly we understand the importance of this universal harmony, this order. And in this order, we find what we call God. The ruler of all laws. The one who puts harmony in all these laws. And we will connect with Him, we tune with Him, we experience harmony. And we experience something we all want in this life, which is inner peace. Inner peace. That's all we want. So in our spiritual life, we start with a lot of enthusiasm. When we discover this, we discover that there are good people around us. Some of us fall in love with the teachings of from these teachers and from the scriptures, and we want to do this right. We set up on this journey with full of enthusiasm. But then what happens? Life happens. You get distracted. Your duties. You need a break of everything, but you cannot have a break of your spiritual life. And probably most of us, we understood that very well by now. So in time, what happens to us? We become a little casual. Yes, we come to the temple, we do this and that, but we are casual about our practice, our commitment. We forget what? The essentials. After some time, we feel, oh, I know that. Oh, that again, the Swami is repeating that. I know the topic already. I read this so many times. You were discussing this, huh? I know. I have studied a lot already. I have a good understanding of the scriptures. And yet, have you transformed your life? So there is definitely a theory, but what we care about the most, particularly I put a lot of emphasis on this. Intellectual gymnastics can be very good, but it all stays here at the level of the intellect. Nothing happens in your life, and what we want is to find joy and peace. So we have to practice these values in life. Mm. These are called the do's and don'ts of Hinduism. Do you know them? Yes, you do. You know them very well. You've been here in this journey for a while now, right? The yamas and niyamas. And these were introduced by Patanjali, coming from our scriptures. Some of our ancient teachers, put things together, organized all this systematically. Thank God we have some structure. But in that structure, as I always say, we should be able to customize and understand our psyche and see what works best for us in our daily life, but without compromising the essentials. Sometimes being a Swami, some devotees share with me, oh, Swami, I have a hard time doing the upasana that my guru gave me. I sit every day and I try to imagine everything, and I just get so frustrated. I just get up and forget about it. I have to go to work and don't have time to imagine all that. What are you talking about? That's just a practice. Don't forget the essential. Don't forget the essence. What is the essence? To commune with your God, to find inspiration. So do it no matter what. Through prayer, if you can't imagine, it's fine. Look at the picture. Be inspired. Do anything in order to be reminded and stay inspired. Otherwise, you forget. Get hold of his name, but don't allow yourselves to forget. So this classification, we have this in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Now we find them. We have the yamas, non-violence, ahimsa, the truth, non-stealing, of course, non-coveting, continence, and then the niyamas, cleanliness, contentment, always a positive attitude, be austere. We call this today be minimalistic. A study about the self. And personally, the thing I like the most, surrender to God. Ishvara Pranidhana. So ahimsa, satyam, asteyam, brahmacharyam, aparigraha. These are the 5 yamas. Ahimsa. Ahimsa. Avoidance of violence and injury. Now, there are different types of ahimsa, as you may know. We usually relate this with physical violence. Avoid physical violence. Don't kill others. Don't kill animals. Don't kill living beings. Because, even what we eat, whether you're a vegetarian or not, has got life. Vegetables has got life? Definitely. Hmm? So then what do we do? Can we eat them? Swamiji says, even when you breathe, we are killing minute beings that are in the air. We don't see them. So it is what it is. Life is sacrifice. Whether we like it or not, life is sacrifice. And there comes a moment when you need to understand that you have to sacrifice yourself as well. And there is a beauty in this. I don't know, whenever I say this, some people say, Swami, don't use the word sacrifice. I think it's cute. I mean, there is so much meaning in that word. It's an act of love. So physical violence is not to be confined just to beating people. When we practice, we must first pay attention to physical violence, of course, but there are other type of violence as well. Verbal violence, manipulation. What to say when you shout at somebody and using abusive language. So ahimsa. Next, satyam, truthfulness, verbal discipline. Our words must not hide our knowledge or motives. Easy. Now, that doesn't mean that you I tell the truth. I tell the truth, don't you know? You don't have to go around and saying that. Just be truthful. There are many ways to convey the truth. I use humor a lot so that people don't take offense. Sometimes they do, but happens to me too. Truth hurts. But we should not try to hurt them in that. We should try to practice ahimsa. So we have to find the right means. You don't hide it. Sometimes you have to find the right time to say it. So there must be harmony between thought and word. Satyam is a positive attribute. Excuse me. So we have to redefine what satyam as something to be given. We must emphasize more on scheming satyam and not telling lies or speaking untruth. Third value, asteyam, yama, non-stealing. Now, obviously, you may say, Swami, we should not steal. Not only physically, but also with our minds. You may say, well, we are not thieves. But the truth is that any unfair transaction which we derive some benefit, unfair transaction, could be seen as a stealing. Not paying a person his due is a form of stealing. The fourth yama, continence, chastity. Now we know that what that means. But also chastity or continence is not just physical, it is mental. And incontinence is not about just being chaste. It has different dimensions also. To be able to control yourself when it comes to sense pleasures, sense enjoyments. Brahmacharyam. Sometimes to have a decent approach or attitude towards our opposite sex also, to have due respect. That's the reason why Sri Ramakrishna says or encourage monks, but why not all of us to look upon women as mothers? Fifth, non-possessiveness, aparigraha. The opposite is parigraha, which means possession. Non-possession. What is this? Just lead a simple life. There is a Swami Dhyanayogananda used to say, don't add more to your life. Don't add. Stop adding things to your life. When you understand this, understand what is enough. Don't depend on things. You'll get attached. So, definitely owing less. We have a rule here. We practice, I personally try to practice. Whenever I get something new, I have to give something away. Or if I get something new, it's because to replace something. But to accumulate, so owing less and also have the right attitude towards the little things that you own, the right attitude of care. Because what? Everything belongs to the Lord. Everything is given to us. So we have to take care of things. Is it okay to enjoy luxuries? And, well, what a king is going to do? He's surrounded by gold. There is nothing wrong in being prosperous and having nice things, but you should always have the right attitude. And when it's enough, it's enough. Mm? Otherwise, you can experience what happens when you have a different approach. Mm? In the United States, I see so many of these storage places. It is actually very unique, I tell you. So many. For what, I don't know, but well. So a simple living. Mm? Number 6, cleanliness. No, let's start with these niyamas first. So, to finish aparigraha, that we should have the right attitude, no? As I mentioned before, that everything belongs to the Lord and is given to us. Mm? And we should never claim that possession, but also be use it, as in a service to God. The 5 niyamas are shaucham, santosha, tapas, swadhyaya, and ishvara pranidhana. Shaucham, purity, means cleanliness. We first focus on our physical purity, but why do we have to practice sadhana? Mental purity. We have to guide our thoughts. We have to give proper direction to our thoughts. Otherwise, what happens? You fall attached again. You get distracted. Mm? So, cleanliness, physical, mental, also order, to keep things in order, to give things the right place. That's also important. Santosha, contentment. What is contentment? To be positive attitude, always content. I always like to say this. What is the difference between happiness and stay content? Hmm. For happiness, there is always a cause. No, I'm happy because this is happening. You have a peak of happiness. There is a cause for being happy or staying happy. When it comes to contentment, it's a steady attitude. You are content, period. Whether good or bad, you don't have to have an excuse to stay content. If you are a devotee of God, you accept His prasada. Whether you like it or not, you take that as a challenge in your life. Maybe painful, maybe you don't like it. You put effort, trying to change that, but if you can't change it, you have to accept it. So there is always a steady attitude of contentment, no matter what. And to me, that's very important because as I think, and I always say this, Nobody can help you except yourself. You have to understand that you have to keep up always a positive attitude. And that is what? Auspiciousness. Everything is auspicious. I know it's hard. Some of you are looking at me like, I'm not. Yes. Whether we like it or not, we should see everything in the light of being auspicious in our life. So in contentment, there is an attitude where we stop craving, expecting. And it definitely is linked also with santosha. Which is exactly what it means. Number 8, tapas, austerity. Mm. Tapa. What does tapas in your life? When you practice austerities, what happens? Mm. Tapas gives you power. Yes. If power is well led, it will lead to purification of your mind. Mm. So the practice of austerities can help us definitely gather strength, enthusiasm. Swadhyaya. Swadhyaya means interest, study. Yes, that's the reason why you come here to listen from me or from other swamis. That's okay, but you should also have the interest to study about yourself. Just like we go to the universities, why not? Try to make sense of this. And also, we have to study to stay inspired, to read, to contemplate upon that reading. Mhm. That is also a spiritual practice. Also, Swadhyaya it can be seen as chanting. In India, you have that tradition of chanting the scriptures. And at last, Ishvara Pranidhanam, surrender to God. Why do you have to surrender to God? Completely. There are certain things that we can, other things we cannot. What is effort? With effort, you can change things. But there is a limit to effort. No matter how much effort we make or we struggle, sometimes we don't get what we want, do we? So we accept the law. We make sense of a higher power. We accept that there must be somebody seeing the whole picture. It has to make sense. Surrender to God has to make sense in your life, regardless of the name and form God may have. It's our superimposition. We superimpose this idea of this higher power being the ruler of all laws in the universe, in some picture, in some name or form that inspires us, connects us with that principle. When it comes to our daily practice, yes, God can be with form or without form, but we have to be practical. If we can connect that principle with the form, just as we see and experience our world through our senses, our vision, sound, we see a picture that reminds us what God is. Immediately, meaning comes to you. We repeat His name. Immediately, meaning comes to you. So there is a relationship we have with God, and there is an attitude that we have towards that. So the attitude of surrender to God. So, are you practicing these values? We try. It is important, don't you think? It is important. It's actually the basics. No matter how big we talk about Vedanta, oh, I'm the Atman, I'm the Atman. That needs to show in your life. Showing acts of love, compassion, being understanding, being more empathetic towards each other, helping each other. What do? We are very critical. Oh, look at that. Next time, an eye for an eye. No, we should lead our lives as examples. So these are the basics, and it is important that, to me, and I will talk about this tomorrow, know that we get hold of our idea of God, because that's where we are heading. We want to have the real satsanga with Brahman, union, aikyam. So I'm going to leave this open for your contribution, comments, and then in the next hour, I think we have another hour. We have lunch now. Another session. So in the next session, I will tell you how to practice this. Well, you should know by now, but let's talk about that. So do you have any questions? Well, you said something that is very key. If you don't have faith, and then you said, if you don't practice. Sometimes when you practice, you develop that faith. That faith, first of all, we are usually introduced to a faith, right? Oh, you have to believe, period. Now, I'm of the opinion that faith has to make sense in your life. Well, you say, well, you can't reason faith. Well, we all have what we call intuition. Intuition is that inner capacity we all have towards something that is true. It's an inner attitude towards something we cannot explain, but we know it's true. Mm? When it comes to this universal being, this universal truth, we all know. And we don't stop to think about these things. What is my own nature? Why are we here? What is all this? We don't stop to contemplate upon these fundamental questions of life. Uh, we are okay to lead a mechanical life, and sometimes we are introduced into a specific religion or a spiritual path without much thinking. Thinking is required. So faith, yes, is the result of some inner intuition, and as you practice, faith grows. You learn to trust. There is no other way, actually. What are you gonna do? Whether you like it or not, tomorrow I'll be talking about likes and dislikes. There is no other way. Whatever happens in our lives is an opportunity for growth. Faith, the prayer that we practice, gives us the strength to keep going. The strength is not coming from outside. I can cheer you up. Come on, come on. But what we need is to connect with our inner strength. So there is no other way. Um, so yes, correct. We need a great shraddha, faith, and that comes with practice too. Some people, some of us, talk about him. I mean, he had a natural faith. I mean, a sense of certainty. I know this is true. Does this happen to you when it comes to the Vedanta approach to our reality? I don't know you, but to me, it makes so much sense. That there is one, the one without a second. When you are and you connect with that oneness in everything, you experience peace, instant peace. When you disconnect from that reality, that's the oneness, the one without a second, you get anxious, you get afraid. And that's quite the opposite of what we want. And here, it's all about what we want, because we're all craving for something. And there is a common ground here. We all want that fulfillment. We all want that sense of fulfillment, the feeling of experiencing this completeness. And once you are complete, that's it. You don't need anything. You are complete in yourself. And that's exactly what we want. We are heading there, whether we like it or not, whether we are aware of it or not, we are all heading there. But the more we practice and entertain this truth in our lives, the easier it gets. Because we all want to leave our bodies without wanting anything. Otherwise, we have to come back. Don't ask me, does reincarnation truly exist? Well, you are from India. So, any question, any comments? Yes, please. What do you mean? What if I am wrong, or what is wrong? If you are wrong, okay, try the opposite. Try the opposite. I'm sure that you already tried the opposite. So that's right. So doubt pops up in your mind when you forget what to do daily. I assure you, if you practice sadhana and you commune with your inner being every day, this won't come to your mind. If you experience dissatisfaction, and I'm sorry to say this is for all of us, I'm not this, don't take it personally, but there is not enough sadhana. When there is sadhana, there is a sense of satisfaction. I'm trying and giving my best. And whatever comes to me is Ishvara Prasada. So we are here to live. We are here to experience. We are here to. There is nothing we can do. You all know we can end these lives just because we fancy. We all know the consequences. We have to start again from where we left off. Mm? And then again there is suffering, so we don't want that. So we are here to live. Now the problem is how to live and what is the right way of living in this world. And here is the answer. You live in God, through God, for God. So It's interesting that we all of us want the same thing. Permanent peace. And that is our own nature. I always say, Sat Chit Ananda Brahman. Sat Chit Ananda. You know what it means, right? Sat Chit Ananda. Now, Sat and Chit, it's easy. It's your own experience. Sat means, do you exist? Chit means awareness. Are you aware of your existence? Can't deny it, can you? You're trapped there. We're getting closer. Now, Ananda, change your attitude in life, and you will experience your own nature. All the bliss that we experience through our senses is momentary. It has a beginning and it has an end. And it's never enough. And all we want is to experience our own bliss, permanent bliss, Ananda. You may say, well, that's Brahman, that's, you know, that's without form. Yes, yes, yes. Sat Chit Ananda. What is your name? Vicky. Binky. Binky. Sat Chit Ananda, Binky, and his Rupa. Nama Rupa. So let's all go for Ananda. Shall we? Now, seriously, any more questions or comments, please? This is a retreat. It's not a monologue. Mm. Mm-hmm. Yes, they are Ten Commandments. They are called the Ten Commandments, correct. Oh, really? Yeah, that's correct. We talk about the Ten Commandments of Hinduism, that's correct. The essentials. And we forget, we sometimes, some of us, even those who we share the same colors, we talk big about Brahman, but then we forget the essentials. It's natural, though. It's very natural. We're still living in human bodies. Mm? The root cause of our selfishness. But we have the power. Did you know that we have the power to make that choice in life? Yes, a struggle, definitely. Are we going to go against the current? No doubt about it. The whole world is going along with the current. That's why it's difficult. But hey, we have to love. And okay, come on, let's do it. It is difficult, I understand. This is the survival of the fittest. I don't know if you thought about it. We see this Animal Planet channel, right? All these documentaries and see all these animals, fighting for their lives. It is the survival of the fittest. We are no different here. But we have to do this intelligently. We should know better. We are not here to take, we're here to give. Mhm. Anything else? So, what do you find difficult to practice in your daily life? You should never forget the essential. God is within you already. The basics of Vedanta. So that daily communion you have to have with your God is essential. Otherwise, we forget. And we fall into the traps of our own egotism. So all these, even this temple, is a means. The picture of our teachers, who we honor and look up to as the greatest, our treasures. They are all means that help us stay connected. So that's why we even carry pictures of them, on your phones. You don't want to forget every single moment. Whatever it takes, don't forget. Mm? Do to others what you expect others to do to you. All right, should we take a break? Very good. I just realized that I need my glasses. Oh my God, I can see your faces from a distance. That's what age does to you. Jai Shri Guru Maharaj Ji Ki Jai.